welcome to our 3 News Plus app. I'm Barbie Leo.
And I'm Rudy Trevino.
Generational culture traditions are the customs, beliefs, and practices passed down through families or groups over time, creating a sense of identity. These traditions contribute to a community's heritage. Today, we'll be discussing key aspects of generational culture traditions and its importance. We have 4 special guests with us today. Jesse Rivera Jr., band leader of Mariachi Nuevo Viajero, a grand mariachi group here in Corpus Christi consisting of 14 members, including all his family, his kids, and his wife. We also have Lázaro Pérez, lead vocalist and accordion for Lázaro Pérez y su conjunto. Sasha Alcorta, assistant director of Alcorta's Compañía de Danza Folklorico, an award-winning nonprofit organization dedicated to the preservation of art of Mexican folklorico and Latin folk dancing throughout South Texas, founded by her mother, Cynthia Alcorta. Melody Martinez, digital media coordinator for Freddie Records, an American independent record label founded by her grandfather, Freddie Martinez Sr. in Corpus Christi. And welcome.
Yay! Such
what fun intros. Good job, everybody. Look at us go.
what a great group of just talented people from our community that represent a very unique slice of our culture that makes up South Texas.
Absolutely. We want to talk about passing down wisdom and values, from you passing them down to, of course, your family, things that have been passed down to you with your family. So let's get started.
All right. So first of all, I want to say thank you for having me here.
Of course.
It's a huge privilege to be here. Thank you so much. Yes, I've been playing mariachi since I was 15 years old. I'm 45 now, and I've been me and my wife, she's been playing just as long as I have, and we're fortunate enough to have our children and be able to pass that onto them, and they are just blossoming with the mariachi music, and it's just wonderful to have your whole family to be able to sit at the dinner table and just talk mariachi every single night.
Why is it important to you to pass that down?
To me, it's because when I was growing up, mariachi, it kept me away from a lot of things, and it kept my mind occupied, and it also expanded my mind, I'm just fortunate to be able to pass that on to my kids, and my kids, it keeps them occupied as well. And I know that, this time and age, it's very easy for young adults to go off into other things, and I really love that my kids are just so involved in music.
What type of tradition and values were passed down to you?
Again, thank you for having us this morning. The simple fact of keeping our heritage alive. I mean, our culture, it's something that I believe that needs to be preserved. And, through the generations of our ancestors that have passed and onto us, I feel like it's our job to keep it going through our kids and hopefully, our grandkids one day. So, I mean, it's not the fact that we love it, it's just our lifestyle. It's our lifestyle.
For you, your inspiration was whom?
My grandfather. My grandfather played accordion. Since I was small, I could remember that I was running around with my little accordion, and unfortunately he passed when I was very young, but I knew that one day it's what I wanted to do. And just the simple fact of being able to play. And long story short, I've been living a dream that I dreamt about since I was 5 years old. So I've been super blessed.
That's awesome.
Sasha.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Same question. What type
Hi,
of values and traditions were passed down to you?
Well, I'm a literal product of culture being passed down to me. My dance company started with my mom being in the high school as a Spanish teacher, realizing that in a Spanish book you're learning conjugations in the language, but there was nothing of culture in the book but one page. And she goes, that's not right. There's so much rich culture and Mexican heritage. Why is there only one page? So my mom, when she was young, had danced folklorico. She grew up in Laredo, Texas. So when she came over here and was teaching at Miller, she said, well, I want to start a folklorico club because I danced when I was little, and that's full of so much culture. So she started it at school as a club, and she had her dancers. But when those sophomores, juniors, seniors graduated, they were like, well, Miss Alcorta, we want to keep dancing. And where do we go? What do we do? So she took out her teacher retirement early, which is unheard of because you need that. And she opened up a nonprofit so that not only those students, but all children and all students everywhere around the coastal bend could have somewhere to come for the culture. And that was in 97. I was born in 99. I literally was born into it. The second I could walk, let's go to practice. There we go, put on that skirt, let's go. And when you're young, you do what you do because your parents tell you, you know, this is where I want you. I want you to try this. Try baseball, try track, try basketball, do dance. Well, what kind of dance? But when you get older, you start realizing that it's so much more than just an activity. Folklorico in itself is an embodiment of culture and history, and everything is real. It has a purpose. It's history of our ancestors and everything that dates back to creation up to now. And the part of folklorico, what's cool is that you keep it going and you can modernize it through different music and different dance styling, and you're still educating everybody around you, which is the whole point.
Sure.
So,
the evolution of our culture.
Yeah.
It's happening no matter
preservation starts with music, with dance, with art. If you're not talking about it, if you're not seeing it, if you're not proud of it, you're not showing anybody. And how else are you going to pass it?
Absolutely. And Melody, of course,
Yes.
growing up with your family, music all the time,
Yeah.
the traditions and values that were passed down to you.
Yeah, I mean, music has been a part of my life, literally all my life. And I mean, you know, from the moment I was like I could remember, I was just like hearing music everywhere, you know, whether it was my grandpa or like my dad playing the guitar. I mean, being able to play music was definitely something that was passed down to me. I played the piano, you know, my sister sings. I've dabbled in guitar like my dad, and then, I mean, I never played the trumpet or anything, but that was always something that I was very keen to, and, you know, really proud of my family and my grandpa for knowing. And I guess, like, as far as the business aspect goes, I mean, just like, you know, like knowing your artists and really like caring for them, and, you know, not being a part of some like big machine that keeps on turning, you know, whereas like, you know, these big corporations and stuff, like, they don't care as much as like we do, you know. And we're like a family-based label. It's been in our family like for 56 years at this point, which is pretty amazing. And, you know, we keep on going.
Absolutely. And here you are, you were introduced to Tejano music, our South Texas cultural music.
Yes.
Did you grow up with these artists? Did you learn about them? Did you?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, definitely like more on the side of like knowing them and not like knowing as much about them, you know. And as I've gotten older, it's kind of been like, oh, like I'm definitely learning more about them as I go. But it's really interesting because I guess I came from the position of just like knowing them more on a personal level than really knowing like about them a whole bunch, really, you know. But now that I'm older, it's kind of nice to like, okay, like I didn't know these things, but now I do. Like, it's interesting.
Why is it important to you to continue in the family business?
I mean, it's a huge part of like the culture, obviously, and I think that, you know, I think there's like not a lot of places to really give artists like a platform like that, you know. And I think that's just like really important for like preserving our culture, like we've been saying, and you know, keeping the music alive, keeping art alive. I mean, I think that's I think that's really important, no matter the genre or culture, but you know, especially for our culture, you know.
What is the importance of independent record companies such as Freddie Records
Yeah.
to the success of Tejano music?
I guess like I was saying earlier, I would say that it's just like getting to know them and like I'm sorry. Getting to know your artists, and I would say just like I said, being able to give them like a platform to play and perform, and not just, you know, being able to record their music and like record their art and their history, and so it can be preserved and remembered and passed down through the ages and stuff, you know.
And not only that, it inspires other artists
Yeah,
to get
to
into
do-
it, and that's
yeah.
how you find more idols to look up to. I remember seeing so and so, now I started playing. It's a
Yeah.
repetitive cycle.
Definitely, yeah.
It's a label that is taking care of artists that weren't taken care of by other labels.
Sure, yeah, that's
Freddie
very
Records
true.
came in and they took
Yeah.
it to family. Tell us about the importance, Sasha, about continuing to teach, your students folklorico, especially the little ones? What do you hear from them, the feedback from them and their parents?
I love them so much. I think about them and I'm like, oh, my little babies. But it's also crazy because they come to me ages 3 and up, and they come super excited, and their attention spans are this big. So I'm like, okay, everybody, come on. But I mean, it's teaching them the dance moves in a way that's simple for them to understand. But they also listen to me and, well, we move our skirts like this because their bodies at the time could only do this, or we wear our costumes like this because it's a representation of where they come from, and these are the only colors that they had to make the dresses at the time, and different things like that. Teaching kids that gives them a sense of identity so that they can know more than just dance, but know that the culture that comes behind the dance. And that starts, and then they get older and older and older. And then you start realizing that you're not the only one dancing folklorico. Somebody at your school, oh, I dance too, I dance with so-and-so, I dance too, or I used to dance. So then you start finding a little community with people you didn't even know that are all tied to this love for this dance and this art. And then they start telling their friends, and then their friends want to join. It just keeps passing. The word of mouth by the love of the culture. Oh, you should come and try a class with me. Come, my teacher's really nice. She teaches us everything. Thank you. They tell me. I said thank you. And they bring their friends, and I'm like, come on, come try. I always have extra shoes, extra skirts. I'm never gonna turn away somebody who wants to learn about the culture. I mean, that's what it's all about, you know?
And we all had inspirations. I know you said, Lázaro, that you mentioned your grandfather, but there have been others along the way where you've picked up ideas and techniques. Tell us about that.
Of course, I mean, there's been artists that, I remember desde chiquito, I would go with my parents to the dances, Instead of being that kid running around the dance hall, I would get a chair and just look at the artists playing.
And studying, right?
And studying, what they were doing. And I knew that, I told myself, I'm gonna do that one day, and it's all about learning, like she said. I myself, I'm a teacher at Bishop High School, and I teach Spanish. So you have kids that, they come in, we know that they listen to this kind of music, but they're a little embarrassed to say that, I listen to this, but once I like to present myself and say, this is what I do on the weekend, this is my second job, and make them feel more comfortable, more at ease to know that, I can express my heritage, my culture within these walls or within the school. And it's crazy when you open up that door for them, that avenue, that they become more comfortable, and like you said, other kids start picking up on it and they want to join in. I have my instruments in the classroom too, and that's when you start figuring out, well, this kid plays this and this kid plays that, and they pick up the accordion in my classroom, in my Spanish classroom, and they're jamming out. We have music going, so it's just embracing the cultural aspect within those boundaries, because I feel like our culture, it shouldn't have boundaries. It shouldn't have boundaries, but it really does. And making these our kids of this generation feel more at ease, and letting them express themselves, and allowing them to soak in the heritage is of the utmost importance. It's very important. So I think making them feel comfortable, making them feel that it's something to be proud of. It's something to be proud of, and I feel like little by little we're getting there, little by little, and whether it be music, mariachi, folklorico, or even like recording. I mean, there's so many kids with talent, with technology nowadays. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing because, I wish we had what they have now back then, because I feel, because music, culture, it's never ending. It's never ending. So I feel like it's heading in the right direction, and it's something that'll never die.
You brought up an interesting point, and that's why we're having this panel. How some of your students, you see that they may be a little embarrassed, a little bit shy, maybe speaking Spanish, maybe embracing our not only our language, but our music, our culture. That's why we wanted to have this panel. I want to know what makes you proud to be Hispanic. What about our culture makes you each proud to be Hispanic?
I love doing what I do. I love teaching people also what I do. It makes me very proud that I can reach out to not just people of Hispanic, but all types of cultures and races. To someone reach out to me that is not Hispanic, that is very interested in playing mariachi, I feel like we have reached out to them. And it's just like him saying, you see these kids, they pick something up and it's amazing just to watch them take off with it. It is just, it's the greatest feeling in the world. And then later on, it's like a tree. They start teaching others and then they start growing as well. And it's amazing. I love what I do. I love this culture. I love to teach anybody, anything, anytime, anywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's got to be a special feeling when someone of another culture, as you mentioned,
Right.
that comes to you and says, hey, I have an interest in this. How does that make you feel?
Great. It makes me feel wonderful. I mean, it's like mariachi and tejano music and
Yes.
folklorico dancing and engineering. It's for everyone.
Absolutely.
It's for everyone. Like you now see days, you see mariachi rock.
That's right.
Like, and that's like that just blows my mind, and it just helps us all to expand our knowledge in music, and it's for everyone. It's amazing to see these kids come in and say like, hey, I have this idea, and then just take off with it, doing something out of the box.
It reminds me of when George Strait recorded El Rey.
Yes.
He loves
Yes.
mariachi music. Well, he loves Vicente Fernandez, but he loves mariachi music. So you see that.
Oh yeah.
And he embraced it, and he opened it up to other.
Cross-cultural.
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely. So what about our culture makes you proud to be Hispanic?
I would say just because I feel like, we're all, like they say, we're all God sent.
Yeah.
We're all God sent to serve a purpose here on life and in life. And I just feel like by me expressing music or teaching in school, I'm helping somebody, like you said. I'm being able to, pass something down to somebody else. And I feel like that was my calling. That's my purpose in life. Just the way, y'all too, y'all are meant to do this, And
We didn't pay him to say that.
and I just feel it just makes you feel good because it makes you feel like you're serving your purpose here on earth, and by doing that, it's not about the money, it's not about anything else. It's just the simple fact of having that content in your heart, knowing that you're doing something good for somebody else.
Being proud of who you are.
Exactly. And through the centuries, we know that art has played a role. All you need to do is open up a history book. Centuries old art is always something that is embraced by all cultures. When it came to you and your mom, I'm sure that you and her had many, many discussions when you were a child about why this culture, your culture, our culture, was important. Do you remember a story maybe that she may have shared with you about how she got started with the love of folklorico?
Well, it was that origin story of how is there not enough to show these kids in school that I have to break out and do something extra for them. And being born into that and knowing that that's the legacy and how proud she is now that my brother Sammy and I are the ones running it for her. We picture it like a school. She's our superintendent. She'll pop in and scare everybody. Why is superintendent here on our campus? But my brother and I mean, we run everything together and we still run it by her, and she'll give us her 2 cents here and there because Lord knows she needs to. And we still accept her guidance and we'll take everything because without her, she, like you had mentioned, she was the spearhead. Without her, we wouldn't be where we are. And every once in a while, I'll text her, or I'll go to other performances of other groups, and I like to go learn. I like to go observe. Ballet Folklorico de Amalia Hernandez went on a world tour, and I went to go see them. I hadn't seen them since I was about maybe 5 with my mom. She took me to San Antonio. And so I said, Mom, I'm going to go again, and I'm 25. So I said, I'm going to go again. And she was like, okay, we'll have a good time. And we went with a big group of our dancers. And I watched it, and I just fell in love with it all over again. And I texted her, and I said, thank you for giving me this outlet to do what I do, to keep going. Because without you, and you starting it, and you taking such a big leap and opening something so special, I wouldn't have found the passion to teach in general. Because I teach children folklorico, but I'm also a 4th grade teacher. I worked in CCISD, now I work at SST, so I also still work with kids, and I wouldn't have found that passion without folklorico. That is who I am, that is what I do. I take it a step further. Every summer I go and I study. I've gone to Veracruz, Chihuahua, Monterrey, different places, Oaxaca this past summer, to learn more and dig deeper into this culture so I can teach my students, teach my friends, teach my family. there's so much culture. The food, the clothes, the art, the music, everything, the food, everything has a purpose and a reason. How beautiful is our culture that everybody wants a piece of it.
That's right.
It's so beautiful.
And Melody, growing up,
Yes.
I'm sure, you know, with your friends, was tejano the coolest music to listen to? Probably. You know, how would you explain, you know, as far as your family and what they do to the tejano
Yeah,
business?
I mean, like, I would explain it and I would tell them and they would be like, oh, okay. And like, you know, kind of like, there were some people who thought it was really cool, but then there were some other people who were kind of like, I mean, you know, they know nothing about the culture and they're kind of like, oh, well, that's just like, you know, kind of like traditional kind of music that like doesn't really appeal to me at all. I'd be like, all right, fine. But like, it's interesting now because like finding like my people and my friends and stuff, like it's like they're people who really enjoy it. And it's interesting because I have some friends who, I have a friend who owns Hybrid Records here in town and he'll always send me like old records of my grandpa's or like Sonny Ozuna or Carlos Guzman. I mean, he's even found stuff that we don't have. And that's just like really incredible to me. And so it's just been nice, like now that I'm older, just finding these people who have that interest and have that like, you know, that drive to like be a part of the culture and like really continue it, you know?
And
So-
preserve.
and preserve it, exactly.
And want to know more. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the cool thing is that there are young people out there,
Yeah.
your age and younger,
Exactly.
that are actually interested in knowing more about tejano, about folklorico, and about
Yeah.
conjunto. And the mariachi, of course, that's timeless. That is absolutely timeless because you've got so many of the big mariachis, you know, Tecalitan, and of course, mariachi from San Antonio, that's just Las Americas, amazing stuff. They've gotten it, but you know what? We have other mariachis that are just as good, if not better, that we need to get out
There's
there
so
and
much
show.
local talent in
Yes.
every single avenue, which is why it's important, like for a show like Domingo or KIII or any news station in general, to give them that platform and that recognition that they otherwise might not get.
What I have found within the arts community is whether if you're a musician, another musician is going to respect tejano, country, whatever it is. They're just going to have that mutual respect. The same thing for the music. The same thing with dance. Whatever it is, they find out that you're in the same kind of genre. You're in the arts. Oh, that's already a mutual respect there, and they try to understand you. And that's what we want.
Definitely.
What's wonderful about you know, all these mariachis, you know, that are out there, you know, even the ones that play on a daily basis and are just, you know, awesome, is they're always open to, you can call them, they'll give you their number. I mean, these guys that you think that would never do something like that, you know, that don't hang out with fans or something, these guys are just amazing. It's just like a huge family. Do you play mariachi? Yeah, I play mariachi. Hey, let me get your friend request, you know, and they'll call you, they'll talk to you, and it's amazing to be able to talk to someone that you have looked up to your whole life on the phone, like, wow, I'm talking to this guy, and then you tell your friends like, hey, guess what? I got this guy's number, you know, like, it's great, it's amazing.
With the story that you're sharing, it reminds me of something else. It's so, you know, at Garibaldi, I don't remember what day it was, but I think that a lot of mariachis got together at that particular place at a particular time. They started playing a certain song and everybody just started chiming in, and it was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that was incredible.
Again, culture is the great unifier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Arts is the unification and the cement that keeps a country
Yeah.
together. I mean, we go to New Orleans, it's going to be jazz.
Oh, yeah.
We go to Nashville, it's going to be country. We go to the West Coast, it's going to be rock. But you know what? It's what keeps us together, what makes our nation and
It
our
bonds us.
culture.
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it bonds us all. It may not be who you are, it may not be your race, your heritage, but it's something that you can embrace and say, you know what, that's really good. They're good at what they do. I mean, I'm sure you guys have performed all over the world, all over, haven't you? I mean, and you're taking a part of who we are and sharing it with the rest of the world. Isn't that
Great
beautiful?
example, I mean, really was during COVID.
Yes.
Like, during COVID, you know, music, art, everything,
It's at a
It stood
standstill.
still.
it stood still.
Still.
But you know what? We unified. I mean, how many Zoom videos did you see with artists from
Yeah.
all over the world just collaborating and just joining in and just bringing hope to the people that were at home, you know, that, you know, one of the hardest times that we've ever gone through. So that's a perfect example of how, you know, culture, music, art, whatever it is, can unify.
And I think now more than ever with the political climate, you know, I think it's more important now than ever to be unified. What have you heard, especially because y'all are educators, you have students around you all the time, what have you heard from students concerning that? Are there concerns, or they're, you know, even, you know, scared to speak Spanish or embrace our culture, and how do you address that? What do you tell them?
I think the simple fact that just be who you are. You know, don't let anybody or anyone tell you different, and be proud of who you are. And I'm one to tell them, you know, despite whatever's going on, you gotta keep going. I mean, because the world's not gonna stop for you, so you can't stop for the world. So just making them feel safe and allowing them just to simply be who they are, you know, because like I said, we all serve a purpose here on earth, and we can't stop just because of whatever reason comes up, because I mean, that's life. It's life.
And for me, working with younger students, it's a little more challenging because, I mean, kids hear the news, social media, other people around them, and nowadays people don't have as much of a filter. They just speak. And when you're a child who's learning to navigate emotions in general, hearing something about who you are, it affects you and it scares you, and it freaks you out. Even as an adult, I mean, you can think, why would anybody say something, you know, like that might be hurtful or taken the wrong way? And so I remember one time in my school, they were just doing like a routine security check. But a bunch of my students came to me and they were crying. I was like, I don't know why there's police here on campus. I don't know what's going on. And I felt so bad, because why should a 8 and 9-year-old be so scared in their school because of what they look like and who they are and what their background is? And I told them, don't be scared. You know, they're just checking our school, making sure everybody's safe, because you come to school to learn and be safe. It has nothing to do with anything else. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. And if they have questions, you'd send them to me and I will talk to them. I said, you are beautiful, you are fine, you are strong. There is nothing wrong with you and you have nothing to be scared of.
That reassurance is everything.
Yeah, that's what you need. Anybody at any age. I mean, I'm 25 years old and I run to my mom when I don't know something and I'm scared and I need reassurance. It never goes away. And the way that the world is moving now, I mean, no wonder everybody moves specifically because they don't want to step on anybody's toes or get themselves in a wrong situation. But that's where things like this are so important, to speak up and remind everybody, be proud of who you are. Don't hide who you are, because different things are going on around the world.
Which brings us to the point that we are all role models to our younger children, to the young kids, to those who are an age or 2 years older or younger. We're there as role models, and we need to be responsible, act responsibly when we tell them this is who we are. It's
How you
okay.
handle situations.
To my kids, I'm not just raising musicians, I'm raising leaders. And that doesn't just go for my children, that goes to everyone involved in the group. I teach my kids to be very respectful. I teach them when they go out to listen to music, they have to learn how to turn off that. It's very hard being a musician. A lot of people don't know. You go out there and you're listening to another mariachi group, and your mind just goes off. You start thinking like a musician, like, oh, that note's wrong, or that note's wrong, or he's singing wrong. You have to learn how to turn that off, and you have to learn how to enjoy it. Just enjoy it and just be proud of that person. Go up there, because it takes a lot of guts to go up there and sing and play. And you know what, to me, it doesn't matter if you're singing right or wrong, you're out there doing it,
Exactly.
you know?
It's
So
the same in the dance world, I 100% agree.
Exactly, and then I tell my kids, you know, it's about being a leader. Encourage people and learn how to speak to them, so that way when you're speaking to them, they're getting that encouragement from you, and they know that if they have any questions, guess who they're going to turn to? They're going to turn to you, and you have to have that right mindset, and be careful what you say, because what you say can ultimately define what's going to happen to them later on in their musical
carries
career.
an influence.
Exactly.
It definitely
Yes.
starts at home.
Oh,
And I'm glad
yes.
that you shared what you share, you know, with your kids. What did you hear growing up from, you know, your family?
One thing was that my parents influenced was just always stay humble. Stay humble and appreciate the people, you know, take care of the people that take care of you. And it was always, you know, we didn't have, within our culture, I mean, we were raised in a middle-class family, and we had what we had because our parents worked for what we had, and I feel like, you know, as the world gets crazier, it's something that I still instill in my kids, you know, that you can accomplish anything in this world as long as you work hard for it. I mean, there's no stopping anybody as long as, you know, because the way I see it, you know, because like he said, there's other musicians that come up to you, they start talking to you, and, you know, they say, well, man, I wish this or I wish that, you know. Everybody has the same opportunity. Now, what you do with that opportunity is totally up to you, you know, and you can be as good as you want, but you just got to put the work in. You just got to put the work in. You got to stay humble and just remember where you always came from.
To bounce off of yours, I mean, the same thing. My parents were always like, you know, be humble, be kind, do everything with intention to be a better person, but also count your blessings. Not everybody has or is as fortunate as we are. I mean, I grew up in a family of 5, and I always had everything I needed and some of what I wanted. And I am blessed, and I know that, and so I would see maybe people at school that didn't have what I would have, and I would go home to my mom and I'd say, I saw a boy that didn't have colored pencils. Do you think we can go get an extra pack? And just remember that if you can give to others, do it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Sure.
And as we're finishing our panel, Melody, anything you want to add? As far as that?
I mean, yeah, like she was saying, I was always taught to be just like kind and humble, but also to just like, you know, give yourself that freedom of expression, which I think is so important as like artists and dancers and musicians, and, you know, just to like be yourself no matter what. And I think that's something that has always just stuck with me through everything.
Generational cultural traditions are the threads that connect the past, present, and future, ensuring the continuity of a group's identity and heritage. So let's continue to pass down our culture. Let's continue to celebrate each other and our heritage. Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month. Once again, I'm Barbie Leo.
And I'm Rudy Trevino.
Thank you so much for joining us on 3 News Plus.